Welcome back to the shop here, R3D Research and Deployment. We're doing a little bit of work to the chicken coop today. We're going to be working on the roof rafters and making recessed purlin pockets, a little bit of bird's mouth in there. So come join us today for another awesome day at the workshop here. So you guys have kind of caught me midway between these rafters, but let me show you what we're going to have. I've already cut my 4-foot blank rafter pieces. I found my measurements. I'm cut it at a 20-degree angle. So when they both line up together, it's going to be looking like this. So I have my rafters cut out. Got my blanks. But this is my finished product. This is what each rafter is going to be looking like. I'm going to have my purlins that are going to be connecting each rafter, and I put them recessed. I'm going to have two. I also have my bird's mouth right here. It'll be fitting the top of the wall. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the purlin recess in here, and I'm going to show you guys. It's a pretty cool trick how to be able to cut in something where it looks like that. Where it looks nice, you can fit it in there. There'll be two of them. So with my main, this is the one that has the measurements from. I'm using this as my main guide of all of them. So they'll be built to this exact specifications that I originally got when I did my original measurements to getting the degrees of angle. I want to do a foot from the peak going down. It's a 412 pitch roof, which means for every 12 inches, it drops 4 inches. So you get a little 412 pitch peak. So we're going to take this first one here, kind of do a little fun with it. And I'll show you why I use these quick, some of the things that I do. Okay, let's get our workbench cleaned up. We have our blanks that I've already pre-cut to length and the 20-degree angle cut on there. So now I gotta get all these little notches and all this kind of stuff cut in here, because how do we get these things going? So let me show you guys a pretty cool trick. I'm gonna take 4 of these blank ones and put them together right here. Making sure the angles are all the same direction. I know my workbench is level. I also put a brace back in here that's at 90-degree perpendicular to my table. So I know that if I push them all up against the board, it's all going to be nice and smooth. They're all going to be nice and flush with one another. It's all going to go well. So what I'm going to do is I have my four roof rafters that we need to cut in our purlin inserts. This is my main template I'm using. So I'm going to put them all together like this, using up the edge of the table. You want to make everything nice and square, making sure they're all tucked in and they're all nice and pretty here. And I'm going to take my quick rip clamps, making sure I'm still all nice and plumb and flush. Okay, we're looking good. I like that. Looks real good. I'm going to go ahead and lock these quick rip clamps down pretty good. Now you see we have 4 of these pieces that are the blanks. They're nice and they're real rigid. Now they're together. Now we can start marking out lines. So let's go ahead and put our blank back on there. And we're going to get these bad boys nice and secure. I'm just using traditional speed square and your old pencil. And all I'm going to do is outline these chalks here. Let me get my lines out and I'll bring it up for a closer one. Let's get in here for a closer look so you can see how I've done this. I've marked out where the sections I need to go on both sides. If I can get kind of in here to see. Step 1. Now that we have the lines where we need to cut, we can take our blank off, and we're now done with it for the time being. So now I'm going to have to get my circular saw. We got to cut these grooves out, but I don't want to move these, so I'm going to leave these clamps on. I'm going to take more clamps and put them well out of my way. And I'm really going to lock these bad boys down. I'm putting clamps where I don't want them to interfere with the saw. Now I can take this out and get ready. This final one I'm going to put here in the very end. There we go. Now this thing is a one solid unit. I can cut it all at once. And I don't want it moving on the table as I'm cutting it, so I'm going to take other 2 clamps I got here and clamp it down to the table. This is so I can freely use this thing. And it's not going to be sliding all over. Now, I only need to cut the depth of a 2x4. I only need to cut this much out. So the trick is, with the saw unplugged, you're going to adjust your blade to cut the thickness of a 2x4, only the depth of the 2x4, nothing less. So as you're making a cut, it's going to cut the depth of the 2x4, and let me make my first initial cuts to give you a clear understanding of how the depth you should set your blade to facilitate putting a 2x4 in there. as you can see, each cut is only the depth of the 2x4. Can you guys see that? So, how do we get this huge chunk out and a flat line? Let's go into the other step. So we have our initial lines. We need to be cutting inside here. We've set the skill saw. All you have to do is run multiple cuts on the inside of these two lines, and we can knock these out and we can create an actual little pocket. And let me show you. Let's take a closer look. Now, with a whole bunch of cuts at that depth, we can start to do some pretty fun stuff. With the simple technique of just now all you have to do, I like to just use 1-inch chisel, and you just chisel, you just kind of help it. You're just kind of helping it be a little bit more, and you just kind of leveling it all out. And once you get the big chunks out, you can get on there. You can just take it if they're sharp enough. This is a little high. And then the test. Nice and smooth. This maximizes surface area when you're installing metal sheets with metal roofing using the purlin method. Let's do the other one. Now that we've got our purlin pockets cut into our roof rafters, we need to move on to the second step, or third or fourth step, however you want to follow along with me here. I'm going to do the little bird's mouth. A bird's mouth rests on the top of the wall when the roof rafters hit it, kind of like this. I can get it to you right here. So it's got something to hang on because I want a nice little overhang. And so these are nice and fun to cut, and I like to use the jigsaw to do it. So for the final step, like we said, we're going to be getting in the bird's mouth. So this was my original blank that all other roof rafters are going to be copied from. So I'm just putting the one we just cut down, lay it on top. Lining everything up where it's nice and pretty and flush and where I like it. I'm going to mark my angles. Using the quick grip clamp, getting plenty of here. Just giving myself a nice little workspace to get. Taking this. Taking the safety glasses on. And rock it right. It's really just about getting your angles. So now that's completed. Let's go ahead and do the rest of these.